Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Treasurer's Office Money Matters Institute, or MMI. It's our exciting new financial education series, and we are delighted that you're here. I'm Dana Eubanks. We thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited to introduce you to our community partners who are going to talk about budgeting and saving today. The mission of MMI, Money Matters Institute, MMI, is to empower all Chicagoans with the knowledge and skills needed to make informed financial decisions to build wealth today for tomorrow. MMI is a 3-session program series through webinars and workshops that also offers free personal and confidential financial counseling now through November. We, on today's session, will be presenting about money makeover, budgeting, and saving. That is our second step in this 3-step series. This workshop will teach you how to strengthen your money management skills and help you strategize ways to meet your financial goals, taking into account not only your daily routines, so you don't forget that cup of coffee you get every day on your budget, but also your overall lifestyle. Throughout the presentation, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. At the end of the presentation, we will respond to your questions, and we are honored to have our educational partners with us today. From the Resurrection Project, they will begin this conversation. First, joining us is Sandy Guzman, Senior Financial Empowerment Coach, and Angie Ortiz, Financial Empowerment Coach. They will be presenting Budgeting, a Roadmap to Financial Wellness. Please welcome Angie and Sandy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's definitely a great collaborative with the city.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to be with us on this webinar. We appreciate you.
So definitely today we will be talking about budgeting, a roadmap to financial wellness. Us as financial coaches, what we see as budgeting is actually building the foundation to help you achieve your goals, your dreams. And that's something we're going to talk about throughout the presentation.
Okay. So as we mentioned before, the objective for today is to straighten our money management skills and find ways to help us plan for better, just helping us plan better financially. Our purpose of this is to give you guys tools, knowledge, and guidance so that it can help create an action plan to our specific needs and to our specific needs and our situation. This is going to help. This is going to help us in the long run to make better informed decisions in order to accomplish our financial goals.
So within the Resurrection Project, we have something we know, or we call the one-stop shop, right? So everything is in-house. So, for example, we begin with the education on buying and maintaining and sustaining your home. As we know, the American dream for many families is purchasing a home. That's what we assist with free of charge. Where me and Angie, where we work within financial wellness, is where we, again, help individuals build a foundation to help achieve their goals and dreams. And with that is building a savings, a strong savings, help with building credit, how to manage your debt. So that's something we also provide free of charge. We also have the department that offers affordable mortgage loans. That's an entity we have within this one-stop shop. We have real estate services in-house, our own real estate company here within the Resurrection Project, TRP Realty, which is not commission-based. Whatever monies comes in through a sale comes directly back to the Resurrection Project to continue to offer these services free of charge. Lastly, we have homeowner support services after purchase. So it doesn't stop where we're educating individuals on how to, achieve their financial goals, or when they're, after they purchase their home. We have this particular program where anything that's involved with you already being a homeowner, be it you need to appeal your property taxes, you're on the verge of foreclosure, you can't make your monthly payments. We have this service that guides you and assists you in any sort of way after becoming a homeowner, and that service is also free of charge. And here we are, our facilitators. Myself, Sandy Guzman. I'm the Senior Financial Empowerment Coach here at the Resurrection Project. I've been with TRP going on 15 years soon. And I've been within the financial education or financial wellness department for 13 years. So I've been doing this work, financial coaching, and other things for that long. It's definitely an amazing opportunity to serve our clients and just again help them build that foundation to help them achieve their goals and their dreams. That's something that I really look forward to with our clients and our families.
And my name is Angela Ortiz, Angie Ortiz. I'm one of the newest financial coaches to join Sandy's team, which I'm very grateful for because not only do I enjoy spreading the knowledge that I know, but I'm also learning in the process as well. So it's been a great pleasure up until now, seeing the work that we do, not only within our organization, but with our department as well. Okay, let's get into money management. Not sure if anybody or anyone knows or who can tell me this. I guess this would be the first question. How did you hear about money management, or how are you managing your money? This is not something that is taught. Well, it's really not taught in the family nor in school. So it's something of for me, it was like a puzzle. Throughout the years, I had to get bits and pieces from everywhere until my credit fell to the point that it was no good, and then I had to learn on how to bring it back up. So this is one of the joys that I get out of when we give classes and we talk about money management and anything to do with finances. This is something that it's not talked about, and it should be talked about often, as well as passed down to our children so that we can start implementing it and it can start registering to them. So with that said, I'm not sure how anybody learned about money management, but there's different types of tools out there. I'm not sure if that question number 2, does anybody actually work on a budget, whether it's a monthly, quarterly, annually? If so, question number 3, how are you keeping track of your budgets, or how do you do your budgets? So we do have, I'm kind of old school. I have a file cabinet, actually 2 file cabinets at home. I have to have everything down. I have written, handwriting there in my file cabinets. Plus, I also have an Excel sheet because I'm one of those persons from the Y2K era. Oh my God, if the internet goes, what's my backup? And my backup is my file cabinets. We also have applications. Mint Mobile is a good one for budgeting. And then there's also random, there's different styles or different apps that have that to offer. Or do you spend as you go? Little structure, no planning at all, whatever it may be. I'm glad you're here because you're going to learn on how you can improve your specific situation.
I'd like to add, Angie, that many banks now have seen the importance of financial education with their members, right? So a lot of banks have offer their own tools, right, to their members via be it online and stuff like that. Like you could do your own budget online. They have monthly calendars where you're able to see how much you're spending each day. So I think that's an amazing collaborative with the banks. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to add about the apps. There's Mint Mobile is an amazing one. There's also others that are free, and I'd like to share those if you want to jot them down. But there's something called YNAB, YNAB, Good Budget, Every Dollar, Empower Personal Wealth. So these are just a few that are free for anyone who's interested in creating their budget, has never created a budget. It's kind of difficult maybe, or you don't know where to start. These apps are amazing for beginners, and they're also free.
We love free. Understanding our income and how to actually calculate, or the correct way to calculate our income. How do you calculate your income? There's my sister, big argument with me and her because once, as I stated before, I love this position because I've been learning. I've been doing it wrong as well, and she was doing it as well. We were just be like, oh, okay, we'll count the weeks and the months, and then we're like, okay, let's tally it up. But the correct way to come up with our annual monthly income would be if they pay you on a weekly, you're going to take that amount, the gross amount, and you're going to times that by 52 weeks, because 52 weeks does not change within the year. Bi-weekly is every 26 weeks. And self-employed, it's recommended that you are keeping your daily tracks, or your track expenses on daily, weekly, and even monthly and yearly. So that we'll get into that a little bit later, but that way, the bigger the picture you see, the more prepared we are in life. So when it comes to our lifestyle, we may not realize that our financial habits kick in. So for example, there was a time in my life that I had to go see concerts anytime they came to Chicago. Not considering that how much the tickets were at the time. They're still, they're now a lot more expensive. But this is a great opportunity for us to take a step back and look at our habits. If there's anything that we can work on to see how can we improve, or what habits can we get rid of in order to help our financial goal. So what does your typical month look like? For those of you that do like to go on a lot of concerts or go out dining, are you guys keeping track of how much you're spending? And if so, have you actually looked at everything that you're jotting down, whether you're manually writing it down or on the computer? When I tend to be more visual, I have more visualization when I write things down. So that's a real eye-opener for me. If that's not something that you have done, I recommend for you to do that, because that's going to help open your eyes, and that right away you'll be able to at least look at two things that you can eliminate. That is a bad habit that you can turn around and make it good.
I'd like to add, Angie, with this, comes behavioral economics. So we're talking about lifestyle, your habits. 73% of individuals in the United States, they do emotional spending. What does that mean? If you're happy, you want to go spend. If you're angry, you want to go spend. If you're sad, you want to go spend. And there's been a lot of data captured that this emotional spending exceeds $100 per family or per person. So that's something also to keep in mind when it comes to budgeting. It's super important to do so, especially when you're, for example, trying to purchase a home, which is the biggest or the largest transaction you'll make in your lifetime. What the bank is going to ask you for, what the Resurrection Project is going to ask you for, is for your monthly budget. So you have to make sure where your money's going. But see if you are one of those individuals in the 73 percentile that do have emotional spending. So I think that's why it's so important. I know why that's so important to do a monthly budget.
So what makes up our lifestyle? Family and friends. What consists of family and friends? Anniversaries, birthdays, weddings, new arrivals with babies. And especially we cannot forget our fur babies, because they are children, they just can't talk. And that's good, because sometimes we don't want to know what they say. What's your idea of fun? It could be concerts, going out to bar hopping, restaurants, trying new things, shopping. And then we have our culture and our values, the expectations within our cultures, the perception, the family obligations, culture celebrations, events. All of this makes up our lifestyle. The average cost of life events. Now, I don't think, I want to say I kind of agree with some, but off the top of my head, I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, there's no way. I think it's a lot more, but we're going to go with these numbers. Average cost of life living for a wedding, 15 to 30. That can vary. I was looking up the numbers because I was like, that's, I guess, to each their own on how they want to plan their wedding. The anniversary, 500 to 1,500. This, I would like to know what kind. Is that just a simple dinner, or is that like a reception for like a big anniversary. Music festivals, $300 to $900. Vacation, $300 to $2,000. And our holidays, $200 to $500. Excuse me. So the average the average cost of our life events. This is something that we should be taking into consideration when we are doing the budgeting, because these are, if you want to say, if we're not putting them in our budget, or if we're not including them within the budget, we're going to consider them as emergency or pops up that come within our lives. So it's better to be prepared so that we always have something, and instead of ending up with nothing.
So definitely going back to checking expenses and due dates. Going back to the budgeting apps, or like Angie states. I'm also old school, so I have to have everything in writing. I have a notebook where I'm able to do my actual spend. Jot down my spending. I prefer to do it on a daily basis. I don't know what you prefer, Angie, but I just feel if I wait a few days or even weeks, that I'm gonna lose track of what I've spent. So I'm a daily tracker. I don't know if you're doing the same, Angie.
I do it weekly, but maybe I should try that, doing it daily. I think I'm gonna have my eyes open more if I do it daily.
Yeah, I mean, it also, life happens, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have time to do it on a daily basis. You may forget, but I always keep in mind, like when I wake up, by the time I go to bed, that I have to make sure that I have everything jotted down in my notebook.
Oh, that's a good idea. I gotta try that.
So the next one, thank you so much. Yeah, so here are just like a few ideas. Also, how to keep track of your expenses. A Google Calendar. You're able to track those. I know a lot of people use an Excel sheet. Like a few of my family members. It's super important. Automatic phone reminders. You don't want to miss a payment and have to pay late fees, because that also adds up, right? If you don't pay on time. And in some cases as well, that could be reported as a negative impact on your credit report. So you have to be careful with those late payments. Setting up automatic payments, super important, again, to avoid those late fees and to avoid for you to have that negative impact or that negative ding on your credit report. And a lot of people also use a whiteboard, like those simple whiteboards you get like at a Target, at a Walmart, with the dry erase markers. I know that's super helpful for some people. I don't know if you want to add anything, Angie.
I'm gonna add to the number 3 to the automated payments, only because that happened to me. I used to have, well, now I still have it. I got back into the habit, I should say, but I was not in the habit of sending reminders. So there was been a times that my account got overdraft because I wasn't reminding myself when the automated payments were going to hit in. So that's something that I definitely have on my phone. I have a lot of alarms on my phone to remind me what it's due and when it's due. So year at a glance. Excuse me. What better way to forecast your financial year if you're actually working on a plan and working towards a goal? The annual budget works. The annual budget allows us to set long-term goals and plan for things that we can foresee, but it can also help plan with things that we cannot see in case of emergencies and things like that. What would be the reason to create an annual budget? Well, it allows us to project the annual expenses. It serves as a roadmap for the year, so you can more or less go and check probably halfway through the year to see if you're doing how you're doing, and if there's any way that you can improve a little bit better, or if you're staying on the right track. It helps us achieve our goal. At the end, some people can find it very tedious to keep track of a budget, but it helps us so much, because at the end of that, that's when we are really going to realize, like, oh my God, I got to my goal. I got to my goal. And once you do it the first time, you're going to want to get into the habit of doing it and doing it again, because once you do it the first time and you get to your goal, you're going to have such a fulfillment you're like, why didn't I do this before? And you're going to be angsty to want to do it again. True story. I also have a coworker that every year she sits down and she gets so excited to do her monthly budgeting for the year. Me, on the other hand, for the weekly that I'm telling you, Sandy, that I do it, I'm like, oh, I dread it. I'm like, oh, here we go again. So it surprises me when this coworker like gets all giggly talking about planning her year. It makes me want to do it, but then I'm like, oh, yeah, no, not yet. But that's something that I'm going to start implementing. And like as I mentioned, it's going to be motivating. You're tracking your process. You're looking at everything and how far, where you began, where you see yourself, and where you're going to end up at. And it's going to let you know if one, you're staying on track, or two, we got to take a step back and reevaluate the situation and see what we need to do and work on to get you back on track.
Yeah, definitely. That future projection is really important, because you need to know what expenses are coming out annually. So that way, like as you mentioned, it's really important to save money, especially for these expenses. I'm just going to give an example. Property taxes are going up, and it's affecting so many families in the state of Illinois. My mortgage went up this month by $300, but I kind of expected that, so I was able to budget and save a little bit more within this past year to cover those costs. So just that's a great example. Property taxes are increasing tremendously, and that's something that we should forecast, future forecasts for, to not get into have the money saved to cover those costs. As you know, when property taxes they go up, that means your mortgage payment goes up if you're not able to cover that in a lump sum payment. So just a great example of that. I also wanted to add, I don't know if anyone on here, I don't know how many people are on this webinar, but it's the savings rule 50, 30, 20. So 50, and I'll actually put it in the chat as well, or Angie, I don't know if you're able to put it in the chat, but 50% of your net income, so after taxes, should be used to pay off those needs, mortgage, car note, property taxes, just everything that's a need in your home. 30% should be going to wants. So, getting your cup of coffee, planning a vacation, getting a cup of coffee. 20% is the key or the rule of thumb for savings. So 20% should be, put away for savings. One of the things I also did want to mention, in order for you to save, you have to create that habit of saving. So what we say within our sessions or with our clients, always pay yourself first. Do not focus on paying your mortgage first or your rent, whatever those needs are, but focus on paying yourself first. It doesn't matter if you start off with $1 a month, $10 a month, $1 a day, whatever it may be, but get into the habit of savings. That's super important. But again, the rule is called the 50, 30, 20 rule. If you want to, Google it and just get a little bit of more information on that. But that's something that's super important that we talk within our sessions to our clients.
So for a more personalized approach, excuse me, oh my Lord, I apologize. My throat is a little bit dry today. We're here to help on a one-on-one basis. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Till this day, I have not come across a same situation. Everybody's needs is different. So for a more personalized approach, we do encourage you to reach out to us, make an appointment. It's free. We don't judge. We're here to help and educate to get you to where you want and you need to be. So yes, so we're here to help on a one-on-one to help you meet your financial goals. Together, we're going to work on an action plan. We're going to work on a budget. We're going to eliminate the needs and wants. And we are going to see where there's an area opportunity if we need to cut back. And just take a look at your overall situation, analyze it, and see where we can go to help you to get where you want and you need to be. So what you're going to expect from our appointment, you're going to get awesome supportive coaches. And I'm not just saying that because we're here, because of the work we do and the work that I see the coworkers, we really give it our all. not only because we loved our jobs, but because, as I stated before, we want to help you gain the knowledge, the tools that you need so that you can implement, so that it can get you to where you need to be. Not everybody is comfortable coming with us sharing information, because numbers can be a little bit scary, because it can also be a form of intimacy, because once you let people into your numbers, now they're going to start to see you. As I mentioned, we're not here to judge. We're here to help educate you, to see where we can go to help you get to your goal. Excuse me. Um, do the full analysis. We're going to establish financial goals. As I mentioned, budget, credit check. For those of you that do have credit, we can do a soft pull credit that does not affect any of our credit score. So we'll do a soft pull credit. We'll make sure that you don't have any collections, any charge-offs, any accounts that have misinformation or incorrect information that we need to correct. If so, we will address accordingly. And you are going to have, as I mentioned, more on a one-on-one approach. We will stay in touch. We'll have, we will do touch bases until we get you and where you want to be, where you need and you want to be. Tracking your progress. It's easy to help track your process once we are in together and we are working as a team. As long as we have open communication within both of us, it's gonna be nice and smooth. And yeah, and we're here to celebrate your success. Anything from little to big, this is what we're here for. We are here to help you get to where you want to be, and it gives us joy knowing that we're able to help you get to where you want and need to be.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, Angie, it's super important to emphasize again that these services are confidential, and they are free of charge, but more so confidential. So I'm not able to go to Angie because we do sign annual contracts of confidentiality. I cannot go to Angie and talk to her about my cases, giving specific information about my clients. We could discuss cases, anonymously, just, to get feedback or get, any type of feedback or any information that we could get, any resources if we need to get to our clients that we don't know of. Another thing that I did want to mention with our financial coaching within our financial empowerment team, it's 80% client driven, 20% coach driven. What does that mean? Is that us as coaches, me and Angie, we do the 20% of the bulk of the work. We provide you with tools, resources, recommendations, suggestions. But if you want to see success in your case, in your, within your financial goals or just your finances in general, it's 80% your work, right? So the bulk of the work is your homework. We do check in on a monthly basis via phone call, if you'd like to do it in person, or via email. But do know that every 3 months we do review your credit as a soft pull, if that's that's for all the clients, right? Obviously, if you want to opt out of that, you could do so. But I think it's super important for you to know what's on your credit report. And that's another topic of conversation that we'll have in another webinar. But just wanted to give that input that it's super important that the bulk of the work is going to be the clients that come in to the Resurrection Project. So there are a few questions, but we'll answer those in a little bit.
So we have come to the conclusion of our presentation. We want to take the time and thank everybody for joining us. We appreciate you. We hope that that one, you took something away from this. Two, to make an appointment if you don't know where you're at credit-wise. If you haven't pulled your credit report, at least within the year, I recommend to make an appointment with us. It's very important to at least pull our credit once a year. We can get a free report at annualcreditreport.com. At least once a year. It's very important to know what information is being reported, if it's the right information that's being reported, because that in the long run, if we are not addressing it now, if and when, if it comes to the time that you want to buy a house, it's going to become an issue, and that will put you on pause until we actually are able to address those accounts. So yeah, so please feel free. It's free. Make an appointment with us. I don't remember what movie that came from, but it's a movie that says it's free and it's for me. And every time I hear free, I'm always like, it's for me. So please take advantage. Take advantage. Know what's on your credit report. I went through a little many years ago of identity theft. Thank God it was nothing really big. It did take about a few months to straighten out. It was a very big headache, as opposed to my best friend who had her identity stolen a little bit after me. And it took her 20 plus years, plus a lawyer and a lot of fees for her to get her stuff back on track. So it's very important. We should know what is on our credit report and if it's being reported correctly.
And some individuals on here are asking Angie in the chat, where could they schedule an appointment? Our phone number is here on this slide. This is our general line. So our general customer service line for all the Resurrection Project. You could feel free to give them a call. Our sessions, it's up to you, your choice, but they could be in person, via a phone call, or virtually via Zoom. So your preference, right? And I did want to mention, because that's something we didn't discuss at the beginning of the presentation, but I'm not sure if many of the attendees, I heard, or I saw that there's about 20 attendees today. Thank you so much for joining. But the Resurrection Project, we've been in existence going on 34 years. The Resurrection Project was created back in 1990 with 6 parishes contributing $5,000 each. And, it's what the Resurrection Project came to be now. We are in Pilsen, right? That's where we began, but not because we're focused in Pilsen, our office is in Pilsen, or our roots are in Pilsen. That does not mean that our services are only for the residents of Pilsen. This is actually for anyone in the state of Illinois. So anyone that comes in our door that's seeking service, we're more than happy to provide that service here. We have a lot of different programs, and I'd like to mention those briefly. Not just everything that we offer within financial wellness, which we mentioned, it's financial empowerment, where me and Angie work, home purchase, and the home savvy team, but we also have immigration services. We also have apartments for rent. We have our Hope services, which is a team that focuses on victims and survivors of domestic violence, be it giving counseling, offering different resources for the victims and survivors of domestic violence. And I think one of the great components of this program of Hope is that they during the pandemic, they started inputting mental health resources or mental health counseling, not just for survivors and victims of domestic violence, but anyone in general that's seeking mental health counseling. They also have that service, and the services are free of charge. So the Resurrection Project offers so many things, so many amazing things for the residents of the state of Illinois. I know there was a question of if it's just for the residents of the state of Illinois. Do know if maybe you have family or friends that do not reside in the state. They're probably in New York or Michigan. We do have access to a lot of different partners within the United States. So if we're not able to provide service because they're not from Illinois, then we could provide those resources to those clients, or to those, your family members, your friends. Do know that you're always going to come out of the Resurrection Project with a resource or two. That's one of our objectives here.
Sandy and Angie, you are phenomenal. Thank you so much. We are not quite done. No. This is the part where you can ask your questions in the chat. I too have seen some wonderful comments and questions as you have been going through. So I want to just quickly ask if you can remind people again. You said there were apps they could use to help them budget. One was the You Need a Budget, the YNAB thing.
Yes.
Budget. And then Mint Mobile.
Yes. So it's YNAB, Good Budget, Every Dollar, and Empower Personal Wealth. So these apps are beginner friendly and also free. Like Angie said, we love free. So that's why we wanted to project those and provide those to you all here today.
And if it's free and it's going to help us, why are we not jumping on it? It's just going to benefit us. Exactly. What's the worst that can happen? You don't like it. This is something that you don't like to do. At the end of the day, it's going to come back on us. We're only as motivated as you are. If you need help, we have work. We are here to help you. Please, like as I mentioned, no judgment. This is what we're here for. We're here to help educate and pass on our knowledge and tools so it can help better you to where you want to be.
That is the thing. The treasurer, Melissa Conyears-Ervin, that's our Chicago City treasurer, this is all part of her vision to try to help people, like you said. We're not learning around the kitchen table in every family. We don't all know what to do or how to do it. So she wants to make sure that Chicagoans and people, residents of Illinois, are educated and empowered to make those financial decisions to reach your goal. And that you guys have said, you don't judge. This is one of the three components here. We do this online like we're doing today. We do it Thursday in person, so that you want to talk to a human, and then you do the one-on-one financial interviews for free.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful, and that there is no judgment because you've seen everything, I imagine. So,
We see everything, a little bit of everything, definitely.
yeah.
That's why it's very important because I've been 2 years working with the Resurrection Project, but I'm going to be almost a year working as this position, and it just breaks my heart seeing clients coming in because they're losing their houses because they don't know how to manage their money. And I'm talking about, I'll give this example. This client, like 80-year-old clients, they're 80 years old. They're going to lose their house. It's almost finished paying. How can this happen? So it's very important for us to learn. And for those of us that have children, start implementing it now. I was fortunate. I have one daughter. She's 27. I helped her get her credit started when she was a junior. And teaching her little by little because I didn't want her to mess up her credit as bad as I had it. And it took me years to get back on track. I'm not going to lie. Credit doesn't happen overnight. So that's one thing that we need to keep in mind. It takes time. So if we think we're doing good right now, but we're not maintaining it, it can go down. So that's why it's very important. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but yes, annual credit report once a year. And I did see a question. Anybody can get your free credit report? Yes. As long as you have an ITIN or social security number and you have open lines of credit, by all means, go make a profile. I don't really like to make a lot of profiles because to me, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy. I'm like, oh my God, everybody has my information. But this is one annual credit report that I do have. And most of my family has because this is something that I'm like, you need to know because of the things that I'm seeing in our line of work.
And I do want to emphasize really quick for annualcreditreport.com, unfortunately, you will not see your credit score. You have to pay for that service, but you'll see all of your trade lines. So just want to make you aware of that.
That is important for people to understand because we've also had TransUnion as another one of our community partners, and they talked about the difference between a credit score and a credit report. You can get that credit score, but it all folds into the bigger credit report, which is our adult grade card, right? So
Exactly.
you have a credit score out there, but you have one and it's impacting your life. Melba Martin says she has a question. Is it best to pay all of the home bills out of the escrow?
The home bills, you said?
The home bills, I believe, I guess the regular bills, the routine bills that you would have to pay them out of it.
Okay. I would say no, only because escrow is really only supposed to be for insurance and for taxes. And as we know, taxes do not go down, they go up. So my personal opinion would be like, no, because if those taxes go up and you're going to be short in escrow, that's another thing that I'm seeing is that because of the taxes went up in Pilsen, I believe it went up 46%. And there was a lot of clients that came to me that are in the process of losing their house, unfortunately, because they don't have the money for the taxes. And there was a few clients that didn't have enough money in their escrow, which ties into their taxes and the insurance. So no. If you are only, for those of you that have only one account, whether it's a checkings, I recommend to do some research. If you have your one account with a big bank like Chase or JP Morgan Chase and the big ones, I would advise to start looking into credit union ones to see how much percentage they're paying. Because it's a credit union, they pay slightly a little bit more. But my point is for you to open up another account. for you to start saving money. Out of sight, out of mind is one of my models that I love to go by, because you open up an account. Let's say every check you have $100 going into that second account. Make it hard for you. I had one account, checkings. I opened up a checkings and a savings, and I only went for one account last year in December, about 3 days before Christmas. That was my goal. My goal was to come up with another account because I only had one and everything was going in and out. And when we have it like that, we cannot control what's going in and out because, oh, here's another bill, here's another. Okay. So the whole point is that from that account, I have $100 going into it right now. So out of sight, out of mind. I made it hard. Yeah, I got a bank that's really far from my house, and I opened up a savings, so I have to be there in person to go. So when I need money, I think about it really hard. Like, do I really want to go drive 5 miles over there just to go get $100 that I need? So make it hard for you. Make it a challenge for you, because if we see it, we're going to get it. If the bank is next door, we're going to take a walk to go to the bank and go just take out whatever we need. So it's all about self-control as well.
And I think that's where the importance of automatic payments comes in, right? To make sure you pay all of those needs first. So yeah, don't use your escrow. I mean, you should have a checking account or a savings account directly for those services for needs. So like your mortgage, your rent, utility bills, all that good stuff.
Answered a few of the comments that I see in the list. You talked about it's important to pull your annual creditreport.com at least once a year. And now I think you can pull it far more frequently, actually, since the pandemic.
Exactly.
You can go back and get that as frequently as you need, but you need
So
to.
Weekly.
Yeah, weekly. So there's really no excuse for any of us not to know whatever.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for that. Yael says, do you help with divorce as well? If spouse has serious money management issues, if you're the one who's really disciplined about your spending, but you have a partner who's doing whatever, or has other issues, can you help with that, with the financial counseling?
So they could definitely schedule an appointment, but again, it's up to the client, right? We provide all the resources, tools, recommendations, suggestions, and it's up to that particular person if they want to change those behaviors. So we can help as much as we can, but we're here. They could definitely schedule an appointment. We'll be more than happy to speak with him or her.
And you can talk them through it.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you so much. And another question, for domestic abuse programs, should I contact you via email as well for the program that you've talked about?
They definitely, or they could call the 312-666-1323 phone number. That's our universal intake line, customer line. So that's for everything going on within the Resurrection Project.
Stressing again, another question is this only for Illinois residents? You said it's for everybody. If you are working outside of Illinois, you can go to you have other connections in other states.
Exactly. We do have a program. It's kind of difficult, right? We do run a program where we're doing financial coaching for individuals that do not reside in the state of Illinois, but that's a special program, a unique program. You would have to be a member of that program. So, but again, if you have friends, family that reside out of the state of Illinois, and they're seeking a similar service, we'll be more than happy to provide those services, those resources to that particular person or people.
Project number 312-666-1323. That's the number to call for help. Yes?
And keep in mind, for those of you that are familiar, we are a HUD certified agency. That is very important, especially for those who want to become homeowners. There are certain workshops and certificate of completions of the workshops that you may need in order to qualify for certain programs and or grants.
I actually also wanted to add something. It's not on here, but just something that came to mind. Thank you for mentioning that about us being HUD certified, Angie. That means that we have to abide by several rules and regulations for our clients. But I did want to mention, a lot of people have the misconception that the Resurrection Project or Financial Empowerment is a credit repair agency. We are not a credit repair agency. We do not do any predatory work. We focus more on credit reestablishment. So we help individuals, like Angie mentioned, looking at their credit, seeing what it is that you could do to pay off some debt, reduce your debt, pay off collections. So our focus is credit reestablishment. So don't think we're a credit repair agency, because that's something that's predatory, that unfortunately is a billion-dollar entity in the United States. That's something we do not do. And I advise that before going or even thinking about going to a credit repair agency, come to the Resurrection Project. We'll be able to provide you with resources. Come and meet with us. We do similar work as credit repair agencies, but again, we abide by rules and regulations, but we are not a credit repair agency. I wanted to throw that out there.
Thank
And
you.
I'm sorry, I'm going to piggyback to what you said, Sandy, only because I had a client 2 days ago. I'm sorry, that was last week on Wednesday. I had a client that she came in because she had so many debt. So she went to a consolidating agency. She signed a contract for a year and we still don't know what they're doing. I'm like, if we send validation letters, if there's any collections or charge-offs or any misinformation on your credit report, we investigate or we send letters for them to investigate to prove that that account is ours. And I don't know what they did over there. Unfortunately, I wasn't there with her to help her understand, but she came to us too late. So now she has to wait for a year and they're charging her $313 a month. So she has to pay $313 a month for 1 year. As opposed to us, you come to us, if we find, let's say, give an example, we find a collection, we will send a letter of validation. What does that mean? That means that we are going to write a letter. We're going to send it to them. They have 30 to 45 days to investigate that account and send us the information to prove that that account is ours. If that account is ours, then we have to take care of it. If not, it's going to keep on impacting our credit score on our credit report in a negative way until that account is resolved. So it's very important to see what's on your credit report. The credit score, as Sandy mentioned, it doesn't show on the annual credit report, but the most important thing is for you to know who is reporting on you and what they're reporting on you. Because right now, today, these papers, they're for a client that I am sending today, because on her credit report that we've been fighting since February, for her to remove accounts that are not hers. So it's sometimes it can be a headache, but we look at it as a challenge, because at the end of the day, we can't wait to hear the phone call from you saying they removed it from my credit. This account got settled. It's good to go,
Unfortunately, with these contracts for credit repair agencies, you sign the contract, you have to abide by it, and the money is ACH debited from your account. So there's no way for you to even dispute with the bank because you signed the contract, unfortunately. And it's not just the monthly payments for these credit repair agencies. They charge for looking at your credit report. They charge for the application fees. So there's a lot that goes within credit repair agencies, and unfortunately, you don't get your money back.
Angie, Sandy, thank you so much. This information is invaluable. You see the comments that people are saying, so grateful. This is so helpful. I just want to remind people that the Money Matters Institute, what we're doing here through the Chicago Treasurer's Office, MMI, has 3 components. This virtual component that you see here, where we meet on Tuesdays and we can talk about it in the chat. You say, I want to talk to a human, come out on Thursday. That's coming up this Thursday at 6 o'clock for our in-person workshop. You get to talk to the Resurrection Project, and Wintrust Bank will also be there to talk you through what it is to deal with the bank, and so that you understand what that is as well. They will be there in person. This is going to be Thursday at 6 o'clock for our in-person workshop at the Resurrection Project in back of the yards. That's located at 4600 South Woods Avenue. Along, as I said, the Wintrust will be there. It's all about budgeting and saving. Any questions you have, spread the word, bring a friend or a family member, but be sure to join us. The same topic, Thursday, in person, so if you want to follow up with this conversation, or you have new questions, or you thought about it, something else you want to say, please come out, and it's again, free. But remember that one-on-one personal financial counseling is free. So please don't forget to do that. Thank you again to Sandy Guzman, Senior Financial Empowerment Coach, and Angie Ortiz, Financial Empowerment Coach of the Resurrection Project. And we also want to remind you to please complete the survey to help us better serve you, and be sure to help us online and in person at the MMI webinars and in-person workshops. The survey is really helpful to us. It tells us what you'd really like to hear. Okay, again, join us for our next in-person MMI webinar, Thursday, July 11th, to continue with budgeting and saving conversation at the back of the Yards Resurrection Project location at 4600 South Woods Avenue. We look forward to seeing you this Thursday at 6. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again to Angie and Sandy. They were wonderful. Thanks to the Resurrection Project. We look forward to seeing you Thursday evening.